Welcome to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery, starring Jerry Springer, along with Jene Galvin and me. I'm Megan Hills. We're recorded live in front of a brilliant studio audience at the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky.
My daddy came
And here he
home
is, ladies and gentlemen,
every
the one,
day
the only,
from there.
Jerry Springer.
with my...
This is amazing. I just noticed I'm wearing the same sweater and shirt as I did the
Weird,
last week.
me too. It's so awkward. This is embarrassing.
Hey, by the way,
My hair's the same way. Yes.
Megan, you're going to be happy to hear this.
What's that, Gene?
The joke is over.
What?
Finally, because I was
Did we
getting,
finally get from the
I was
from the
getting
top down?
a lot of pressure from corporate.
Yeah.
I had a long talk with
Love
Jerry.
corporate.
And by the way, more emails than you want to hear me read. I am not going to read them, but emails about insulting the aged. Yeah, because it's a hearing aid joke, and it's not about people. It has to do with agedness. So
Well, they've spoken to me
from
too. In fact, they had me
AARP
at a meeting in New York earlier this week.
What happened? If
Well, I
might
went
ask.
into the boardroom and I was a little nervous because they're, it's a big company and they were, but the one gentleman sitting at the end, it was a long table. He was wearing this hearing aid.
Yes.
And he said to me before the meeting started, he says,
I'm not
Jerry,
looking at you.
this is he was bragging about it. Like, why was it my business? He said, this is the finest hearing aid money can buy. I said, yeah, what kind is it? He said, 4 o'clock.
It's not. It's not though. It's just not even funny.
Hey, you know what?
No, but this
It's
was
like
the
the
meeting
guy.
where
It's
they
like the
said,
guy with
change
the
it.
hand in your pocket and stranger, and it's
Yeah.
so stupid. It's so dumb.
What's that?
Oh,
Tell
that.
that one, Jerry. What's
Well,
that
it
one?
was
forgot all
on
about
my way. It was on my way to that meeting. It was at a big office building in Manhattan. Oh, it's one of these skyscrapers. I got on the elevator,
Yeah.
and this guy came up, and it was uncomfortable. He puts his hand in my pocket. I
In
said,
your
"Well,"
pocket?
Yeah, and I said, what are you doing? He says, I need some change. I said, why didn't you ask me? He says, I don't talk to strangers.
That's reasonable.
What's
My
your-
psychiatrist told
what's-
me I'm crazy. I said, I want a second opinion. He says, okay, you're ugly too.
What's red and bad for your teeth?
A brick.
I hate you. That's my only joke.
I thought it was a quiz.
Come on now. That's the only one.
I feel horrible.
Yeah, you
My
don't feel
wife,
that
God love her, we've been married 43 years, okay? But she's not the world's greatest cook.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, in our house, we pray after the meal.
They're all coming out tonight, folks. June, you got any cousin jokes? Anything about a monastery?
Yeah,
What you got going on over there?
Interesting you should mention that.
We could make every podcast
I mean, if we're doing
5
like old
minutes.
material.
Go.
No, my cousin Antonio.
Oh, what about it?
God bless him.
Oh,
He
Amen.
died.
oh, I'm
So sorry.
Bless yourself. In the hospice. Very sad.
Very
Come on,
sorry to
come
hear
on.
that.
Now let's get serious.
Okay.
Now let's get serious. So I'm in the hospital, in the hospice with him, packed full of family. And Antonio, I probably was the 5th last thing he said in his life.
5th?
I'm switching from a Democrat to Republican. He'd been a lifelong Democrat, Megan, forever. Union guy, a Democrat. And I got over next to him and I said, and I frankly kind of pissed off, and I said, what are you doing? You've been a Democrat forever. And he said, better that one of them die than one of us.
No.
That was an old one, too.
No.
Hey,
No.
you know what? Hey, you know what?
You know what?
You get to say
We
nothing,
could-
Mr. Springer. You say nothing?
We could shorten this podcast by 5 minutes each week, and no one would be the less
And no one would,
Yeah,
in
they
fact.
wouldn't lose anything out of
Yeah.
their lives. Hey, Orange County, North Carolina.
Yeah?
You know, somebody firebombs a local Republican
Yeah, how
headquarters.
oh
It's
my God,
horrible.
that's disgusting.
Come on, we can talk against
That's
Trump
disgusting.
every
That's
podcast all night long. We ain't into that.
Nope.
And God bless the local Democratic Party
Yeah.
in Orange County, North Carolina, that started a GoFundMe.
But they were to like 10 grand, weren't they?
Oh, they're at 13 and they were looking
Yeah.
for 10.
That's
and
amazing.
and so I would ask that people go to GoFundMe.com
Mm-hmm.
and just punch in, I'm sure
Orange
Orange
County.
County, North Carolina
Yeah.
headquarters, and donate to that fund.
that's
For
horrible.
sure.
Because we all got to step up and stop.
Oh, with that,
That's about as bad as it gets.
yeah.
That's
So
terrorism.
that
That's
needed to be said.
ridiculous.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes,
And
Gene?
I want to ask Megan this too, but I'm a little afraid to. I'm just going to go ahead and ask it. I don't care. Let's talk about body ink.
Body ink.
Body ink.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about you down with that?
I'm
talking about body ink.
I'm down with that.
You're
take on.
right. Jerry, you don't have any tattoos.
He's not allowed to.
Oh,
He's
do
Jewish.
I have a tattoo?
You don't have. Do you?
No.
He couldn't
Okay,
be
I don't
buried
have
in
any
a Jewish
tattoos.
Cemetery. I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Would you, and so you are experienced in this, and by the way, there are two tattoo parlors in Ludlow.
Mm-hmm.
One that I kind of favor, there's some really cool people, they're very much artists. Some doors down from the Folk School Coffee Parlor. in
Mine is
Ludlow,
not
Kentucky.
art. We'll just.
Would you say that?
Yeah, mine is not art. No.
You would not call it art?
No, mine was a 20. No, you cannot see my tattoo.
Was it like spring break senior year of high school?
No, it was my first show in college. I was 20.
And like everybody just said, let's go get some
No,
tats?
I did. I
You
said,
said
I want to
everybody?
commemorate this moment with ink on my body.
Megan,
What kind
That-
of a moment was it? What were you commemorating?
It's a fairy.
It's a
Oh,
fairy.
My
you-
first show was Midsummer's Night Dream. Like, let's be
that's
fair.
great.
So I was,
yeah,
I
that's
was a fairy.
William Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's legit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you were right on the point. Why don't the three of us?
No.
No.
Come on. You have no commitment to Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery?
Right here on my forehead?
No. We're not
Yeah.
doing like, a Manson thing. No. Somebody carved that in with a knife, I think, with some India ink on the end. No. I say we go. I'll give you another show. Because I think you guys need to let this settle in. But I think we go down 10 doors to the tat shop and we get all three get Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery tattoos. Don't you
No.
think?
No, I don't.
No, I rarely think.
No, that's just not
I-
going to happen.
I would have had a
But you
much
know,
better
how
life
about
if
this?
I'd thought
Gene,
once in a while.
after the show, you go
Yeah.
down there. Jerry and I will meet you there.
Yeah.
Get on down there, get your tattoo done, and we
It's
will
like-
see.
Actually, this is
That's not how it works.
Sure it is.
It needs.
Sure it is. You get
This
on down
is
there,
ab-
take the Ludlow City bus, go down there and
Yeah.
get your tat.
This is
That's
absolutely true.
Right.
We had several years ago, we had a guest on our show, on the TV show,
Yep.
that literally had my face tattooed
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
on their butt.
Are you serious?
That's not a joke.
Do you know?
That's unbelievable.
This is no joke. So there are all sorts of like what are they called, listicles now on the internet, like BuzzFeed and all that. They have like the 10 worst or 35 worst tattoos. I've seen your face as some of the worst tattoos in history, and that is no
Is
joke.
that right, Megan?
Absolutely. There are multiple people that have put this man's face on parts of their body.
Oh
And
my
It's quite disturbing.
Yeah.
I want to
Like,
say.
there are ones from when you're younger and you had like the tortoise frame, like the circle glasses.
Really? I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
I just saw her and it was awful.
Oh no, there's a guy he's like from Minnesota. It's like the whole back piece, like the center of his back is your stinking face, like in a caricature form with a microphone and like beads all over the background.
Megan?
What is that person thinking?
Not
I mean,
much.
seriously.
Not much, and they're not cheap. That was like $500 they put on their back to have you there.
I
for
wanna
eternity.
say-
And I didn't
Megan.
know what to say.
I want to say, Megan.
I
Oh
said,
my
don't-
God, Becky, look at her butt. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only thing I could think of.
Oh my God, you have no pop culture references
No,
anymore.
yeah.
You're done.
No,
That's
I'm
it.
just waiting.
That's it.
Well, actually, when I was born, the doctor looked at my face and then my butt and yelled out, "Twins!"
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I love it.
That's a good one.
Where did that come from?
I like that. Hey, wait.
Where did
did
that
you make
come
that up
from?
or is that a joke? Did you just make
See,
that
he's
up?
good on the fly. It's if you give him.
I certainly didn't look it up.
He
Damn.
can't Google. His phone's taping the,
Yeah.
taping the show.
What's Google? Is that like when you giggle?
Oh my God.
Hey, we get
Oh my God.
thousands, we get hundreds, if not thousands of emails.
We get 7 emails.
Total for the whole run of the show.
One of them says,
One
from
of the-
Bobby from Iowa, I'm not going to give the city, I don't want him to be tracked down, but it's, Megan Hills is the only sane person on this podcast.
Well, that's a high
Please,
bar.
Please, I know. Please give her a raise.
Aw, who is this?
Bobby from Iowa.
I love you,
From
Bobby.
Iowa City, Iowa.
I love you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Is
Dad.
he somebody you're?
There you go, Daddy, thank you.
I thought maybe it was somebody from one of the many online dating
But
services.
the
Because I know your most popular one is blessedvirgin.com, isn't it?
Blessedvirgin.com is
And
my
the-
go-to for all of my
that's your
dating
go-to
needs.
now.
Yes.
Hey, we've got Chalk Eye coming up, which
What?
is a musical group.
Oh,
From Kentucky, Ohio, from what I'm going to call the tri-state area. And by the way, one of the members of these two guys in this group called Chalk Eye is an owner of a music store. There are actually two in what I'm calling the tri-state area will be Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. Because the Folk School Coffee Parlor in Ludlow, Kentucky is it's almost a confluence in
Yeah.
these three counties, these three states. And do you remember, Jerry, on your birthday, probably your 70th birthday, you gave me on my 70th birthday a gift. We're not going to tell what it was, but it was freaking unbelievable. I just traded it in the other day. and
I
got
know.
Another gift. No, leave it there. Leave it there.
leave it there.
So I then, and it's rich man, poor man, Megan. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
I mean, I'm just like a schlep riding the Ludlow bus.
Yeah.
So.
I got a whole year's tokens on the Ludlow City bus.
Cost you $12.
No. Megan, I found by going on to the internets, I found
Interwebs.
the web nets, I found a picture of Jerry Springer. I believe it was when you were a counselor in summer camp when you were in college, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's playing a guitar, and I pulled a close-up of the guitar.
Oh, right.
It was a
right.
harmony.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So I found that guitar. I didn't find that exact one, how will we know, but I found that guitar and I got it. And I took it down to this shop that Mike from Chalk Eye, this group that's here tonight.
Oh.
And I took it down to his shop. They have a branch in Kentucky.
It's one right down in Mainstrasse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
And I
really
took
cool
it in and I
design.
said, can you make this as good as it can be? And he looked at me and he said,
It's there.
this thing's kind of crap. And I
It's
said,
already there.
he said, look, I got guitars, and they have all these vintage guitars. Mike, and we'll talk to Mike in a minute. The place is unbelievable. If you're ever in the tri-state area, Cincinnati, North, you got to go to Mike's. Got one shop in Cincinnati, one in Covington, Kentucky. They sent it to their luthier in Cincinnati, and he worked on it hard. And but they said, this guitar is like not a high quality guitar. And the fact is, it's what you and I did
Yeah.
too. You in New York, I was in Cincinnati. We didn't know each other at the time. We were both folkies. But it was a starter guitar.
Oh,
and
sure.
you played it, I bet, a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
And I
yeah.
bet you played it when you played out, as we say, at Mahogany Hall in
Yeah.
Mount Adams in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And they did restore it, and you have it. I assume
Yes.
you have. I hope
Yeah,
you didn't
still
sell
do.
it on Craigslist.
No,
after that.
I sold it for a car.
Yeah.
If,
Is that Fiat?
Yeah.
yeah. No, is Mahogany Hall still there?
It is, but it's not there
It's not
as
Mahogany
that,
Hall
but it is
anymore.
there.
Oh, it's
like
not
a
a,
company.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
Blind
cool
Lemon's
place.
still
So
there.
we're going to talk, and there's another story we'll hold till Chalk Eye gets up here. It has to do with Bob Dylan, by the way, who just won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And a lot of us are real happy about that. Count me among them.
Yes.
I bet we all feel that way. He is a poet.
I gave him, this is true, I gave him a key to the city.
Yep. I think that was
when-
in the resume that they put forward.
That was what tipped the scales there,
so
Jerry.
here's-
when he got it. I think it
We're
tipped
not
the
sure
scale.
about this
We're
Dylan
not
guy,
sure.
but Springer gave him his key to Cincinnati.
Yeah, so on his wall now, this was back in 1978. Actually, he had just come back from Nuremberg. He had done a concert in Nuremberg, Germany, and he came back and he came to Cincinnati to put on a concert. I was mayor at the time, and I gave him a key to the city. And I had that picture with,
Yep.
oh, wow. So now on his wall, he's going to have the Nobel Prize and the key to the city of Cincinnati.
I mean,
Which do you think he puts
two
more
highest
value in?
honors. I mean, really and truly, it's got to be the key. He's had it longer.
Megan, I have one of those keys. You would open Jerry's trunk of his car at the time, and his trunk would be full of these keys. You know what they are?
They're
bottle
plastic.
openers.
It's like Johnny's
They're
Toys
bottle
keys.
openers.
They're
The back
plastic.
end of it's a bottle opener.
Remember
The
that,
key to the
Do
city.
you remember that
But
toy
that's
store?
how-
Johnny's keys. They used to
Yeah.
send Johnny's Toys. They used to send out keys to
The
everybody.
key
Same
was,
thing.
I don't know, you can't see it if you're listening to the podcast, but it was about 3-4 inches.
It was, yeah.
And it said the city of Cincinnati, and it came in a little plastic thing.
They
But
did
that's how I
Kennedy
got
Kiss.
to meet all these celebrities I wanted to meet. I would offer, I
got a
said, if you
trunk
come
full
to
of keys.
Cincinnati and give us a concert, I'll give you a key to the city. So in 1978, we had Dylan, we had Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Lou Harris,
Eagles.
the Eagles,
Big time.
Kenny Rogers. I mean, we had all these people coming in, and it was just so I could meet them. Well, we ran out of keys, so after a while, I started giving out the combination: 24 to 11, 14 to the right.
It all led up to that. That's
Yeah,
good.
just-
That's not new material. I love that.
He's doing
That's great.
And then there was this older gentleman.
something
Hey,
about
by
a
the
new
way,
hearing aid.
he does that. He does that. This is serious because people could say it's so stupid again and again. No, Jerry is going for the Guinness Book of Record of the telling of that joke more than anybody who would ever think of telling that joke. So he has. There's a reason why you do
Oh,
it.
there's a reason.
Beyond the crowd reaction. Speaking of crowd. Speaking of crowd reaction. Hey Jerry. Speaking of crowd reactions, what do you think of Trump's claims that the election is rigged?
Well, let me begin. Okay, every week there's something else that I say this is the worst thing he's ever done. You know, when he first came out with these horrible things saying these horrible things about women, which obviously I understood that they were horrible, and suddenly some Republicans were saying, that's it, we can't be with him anymore. I was wondering, where was their outrage when he was saying horrible things about Hispanics or African Americans or Muslims or whatever? In other words, I guess my point was, if you are saying bigoted things, you can't just wait till it's your group or what you are, because no one's a majority. So the only way we wipe out prejudice of any kind is that when any group is being discriminated against or treated badly, we all have to stand up and say that's unacceptable. But anyway, so every week he comes out with something worse, and I agree. This business with his treatment of women and his disrespect of women, and every conversation everyone now has to have with their kid. I mean, whether you have a daughter or a son, everyone's got to have this conversation, because you don't want boys treating girls like that in grade school or whatever, and asking questions about what does that word mean and all that. I mean, it's just horrible stuff. However, this is what Trump has done, and then I'll get to the election being rigged and the consequence of him saying that, constantly saying that. The first thing Trump did is he destroyed his own party for the next 10 years. The Republican Party has been, I'm not saying it won't exist anymore, but I'm saying for the next 10 years they have a civil war that will not be cured by this election. There's a civil war. You will have the right-wing Trump supporters that will be totally ticked off that the rest of the party didn't support it, and you will have the regular party types within the Republican Party, the, quote, responsible conservatives. They will be outraged at the Trump supporters. You took us all down with your crazy candidate. So there's a civil war in the Republican Party. So the first thing he did was, if not totally destroy the Republican Party, certainly damaged it for several years, several elections to come. And the next thing he did was he tried to destroy the idea America. And the idea America, of course, is, as I've said on many occasions, America is basically an idea as articulated in the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, manifested in the Statue of Liberty, that this is the one place on earth that you could have any religion, be of any ethnicity, your parents could be from any place. This was the one place on earth you could come and be free and practice your ideas, your beliefs, your religion, whatever. This was that special place called America. And the first time in American history we had someone running for president who is opposed to the idea America, who wants to destroy every value that makes us special. Every country has a nice national anthem. Every country has some beautiful spots. Every country has some heroes. Every country in the world. But what makes America special is we were a country created by an idea. And that idea is special. It's why every immigrant or wherever you are in the world, if you're downtrodden, at some point in your life, you're thinking, boy, wouldn't it be something if I could get to America? Now, so he's destroying that. Now, here comes the last part. He's not just destroying the idea of America. Now, with his latest bit about this rigged election, he is threatening the United States of America. He is basically claiming that America, democracy, freedom is fraudulent. He is saying exactly what every enemy of America, whether you're talking about terrorists, other countries, dictatorships, Putin, what they're all saying is America is a fraud. They don't have free elections. Democracy is just, public relations. They don't really have democracy. They don't have any of that. Putin couldn't have hired anybody better than for the world to have someone running for president to say, you know what, America is a fraud. Democracy is fraudulent. We have rigged elections. It is a horrible thing to say, first of all, because it is absolutely, absolutely untrue. It is not a rigged election. Number one, it is impossible in America to rig presidential elections. Impossible to do, even if that was your motive, even if you got the smartest people in the world to try to figure it out. Why? We have over 10,000 counties in America. We have over 100,000 precincts in America, 100,000 places where people go to vote. In every one of those voting places, as you know, there's a Democrat and a Republican standing there, poll watchers, verifying who's voting. Are you registered? It'd be impossible to get 100,000 ballot places, voting places, to get Republicans and Democrats to go along with rigging it. Which way? You think the Republican poll watcher is going to say, yeah, let's rig it for Hillary? Is he crazy? Every county has a board of elections. And the board of elections, as Gene told us a couple of weeks ago, which he served on in his county, in Claremont County when he was in Ohio, had Democrats and Republicans on it, equal number. The Secretary of State, by the way, most states have a Secretary of State who's a Republican. You think all these Secretaries of State, Republican, are rigging it for Hillary? It is totally, totally a lie. It isn't a misinterpretation. It isn't a point of view. It is an absolute lie that the elections are rigged. Now, that's a separate thing from saying, could you have voter fraud some places? Is it possible that someone walks in who's not registered to vote and votes, for example? That's possible, and it happens on occasion. Do you know since the year 2000, there have been 1 billion, billion with a B, 1 billion votes cast in the United States of America. And of those 1 billion votes, there have been 31 cases of voter fraud. Someone going in pretending to be someone they're not. 31 cases out of 1 billion. And you're talking about an election being rigged? Of course it's not. But here's the danger. The first, I told you, that he is now telling the world, obviously it's a lie, but he has given, can't you write the next commercial for Al-Qaeda, for ISIS, for Putin? America, don't believe in this democracy stuff. Don't believe in this going out and vote. Let's give people freedom. It's all rigged. So that's what he's doing. He's already started recruiting for ISIS by attacking the entire Muslim world, which is a great recruiting tool for every this, you know, some angry kid sitting in their room in front of their computer deciding to sign up for ISIS, you know, because the kid may be Muslim and say, see, yeah, they hate us, they hate us. So he already does that. And now he's also doing this. It is disgusting. And there's one other thing. Ever since 1789, what has marked our democracy, and we have had liberals, conservatives, we've had Democrats, Republicans, Whigs, know-nothing party, whatever it was. Liberals, conservatives, all kinds of candidates. But whoever was elected since 1789, our first presidential election, we have always had the peaceful transfer of power. Even in contested elections, 1876, Tilden got more votes than Hayes. But because of the Electoral College, the presidency and the vote of the Congress, the presidency was given to Hayes. But it was peaceful. People voted, they followed the law, and that was it. In 1960, the election between JFK and Nixon was very close, like 113,000 votes. Nixon had every right to ask for a recount. He legally fell into that percentage where he could have gotten a free recount. And whatever else you thought about Nixon, he understood that to preserve the legitimacy of the American system, he wasn't going to put America through that. And so he just accepted the result of the election. In 2000, many of us were ticked off because Gore got more votes than Bush. He got 500,000 more votes. I'm not talking about Florida even. Give Florida to Bush. Gore got more votes. But after contesting it in the court, he stood there, and it was very painful, but he accepted the vote of the people under the rules that we have, which is the Electoral College decides. So we've had everybody on either side, whatever your political philosophy, respect the legitimacy of the American form of government, of democracy, of letting the people speak. And now comes Trump messing around with this sacred right we have, which sons and daughters have died for to preserve this right to vote. And now, because he's going to lose and because it hurts his ego, once again, he's putting himself before the interests of the country or before the interests of anybody else. It's always about him. And he's damaging our country. He's damaged his party first, the idea of America second, and now actually hurt the security of our country. I'm telling you, if he keeps saying this, that the election's rigged, Hillary will win. But there will be some violence. He's inciting it. You're already seeing quotes in the newspapers and on the news programs of some Trump supporters saying, we'll have to take it in our own hands. People that are starting a militia, signing people up. If the results don't go, if we think it's rigged, we'll take it in our own hands. What do you think that means? This guy is crazy. And where is Mitch McConnell? And where is Ryan? Put your country before your party. These are the leaders of the Republican Party. For God's sake, you want to fight for the Senate, you want to fight for Congress, go get them. I get it. But how dare you support Donald Trump for President of the United States for the damage he's doing to our country? Where is
Really
that
good
guy
stuff,
with the
Jerry.
hearing aid?
Hi, Louis.
No, he left. Hey, we're going to bring up our musical group, a group called Chalk Eye. I love that title of that group.
Great.
We'll have to ask these guys where that came from. It's Mike Reider and Bill Sears. both with some Kentucky roots, although Bill lives in Ohio at the moment. Correct, Bill?
Yes, yes.
And do a song for us, and then we want to chat with you about some stuff, including Bob Dylan.
Okay. All right, this song we wrote, and it's about a beautiful evening where you just spend some time out on the porch. Ready? One, two, late in the evening, long past supper time, long since when dishes have been put away. Sometimes we'll wander out on the old porch and watch dragonflies laying on the dandelion. Soon my old dog will come wandering out there. She'll circle the yard a couple of times, and then she'll come lie down right next to my feet. Well, I wonder what goes through the mind of a dog. These are the times that have burned in my soul. These are the moments that make me feel whole. And we'll store them away in a little old place. We'll keep them right there till we need them the most. Well, soon the old shadows will start coming down, down past the tree line, straight into the ground. And then the old stars will start spinning around. Well, I wonder how far it is to the stars. These are the times that have burned in my soul. And these are the moments that make me feel whole. And we'll store them away in a little old place. We'll keep them right there till we need them the most.
All right, Chalk Eye. Bill and Mike, and by the way, you can hear their music. They have a Facebook page. Just search for Chalk Eye, Chalkeye. And if you're in the tri-state area of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, in northern Kentucky, Southgate House Revival, which is a wonderful venue, one of the, I think, cool venues of
Yeah,
the
it's
country,
great.
actually, for roots music. And those guys will be there on October 22nd. And I noticed, Mike, that you're playing a guitar that has a tag on it.
Yeah.
What I love about this
Yeah.
is that he has Mike's Music Store, and I mentioned earlier a shop in Covington, Kentucky, and another in a neighborhood called Clifton. You can walk in and grab the coolest guitars and pick up any one you want. And what is that one, by the
Well,
way?
it's like mini Pearl kind of thing to do.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
It's
basically,
like
this is just my inventory number, and usually we play a lot of electric stuff.
Yeah.
So our instruments are like plugged into amps, and I use effects, and it's kind of weird sounding. But today, since we're doing straight acoustic, I actually grabbed a guitar I never play. So this is
Love it.
actually the inventory from the store.
Is he actually
Yeah.
the inventory?
I just did it about an hour before we came here. I just-
I love that.
So how much is it?
This one, this one's like $4,000. It's,
is that
it's
all?
an old Martin, yeah.
It's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
By the way, we were
Jerry, I
talking
need
about
$4,000.
yeah,
Do you have
about
it
Bob
tuned
Dylan. That's the one I should have bought you right there, Jerry. Instead of the harmony. Yeah, I don't know. So Bob Dylan, you have a guy that manages your shop. You play in another band with him.
Yeah, Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
And I was in your Covington store one day, and Mark was telling me about the time that Bob Dylan walked in there with a hoodie up.
Yep.
So he was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And he walked in and he walked all around the store because Mike has fantastic vintage string instruments all over the place in both shops. And there was a young kid in there, Mark told me, like a high school kid,
Yeah.
a music guy. And Dylan, and he says to Mark, it was just Bob Dylan walking around, Mark at the counter, and this kid, this high school kid. And the high school kid says to Mark, dude, that's Bob Dylan. And Mark said, I know. So Bob Dylan walked around, came back, had a conversation with Mark about an instrument or two,
Yeah.
and then walked out.
Well, Mark said he liked walking around Main Street. That he
Yeah.
said it reminded him of early New York. And
Yes,
Greenwich
Greenwich Village.
He came back and asked Mark how much the rent was down there, actually.
Oh, no
No
kidding.
Yeah.
kidding. So the word is Bob Dylan's coming to Northern Kentucky.
He's moving to Main Straws.
Hey, by the way.
Did he mention the key to the city?
I don't think he did, Jerry.
By the way, Mark told me he gave that high school kid something, might have been a gift certificate or
being
something.
cool,
He
yeah.
said, listen, he wanted to encourage that and nurture that in that
Yep.
young man. That was the right way to do that.
Yep.
Go off and tell your stories, but, don't ask for a selfie or whatever. Just
Yep.
leave him alone. The hoodie up showed he was just hanging out
Yeah, I've met him a few times. He's a super nice guy.
because he's come into your
Yeah,
shop.
he's came into the other store, and all the band members hang out there sometimes. And
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
it's
that-
cool.
That's a credit to the quality of vintage string instruments that you have, that he knows
thanks.
about your shop.
yeah,
Very
yeah. He's one of the few people that makes me nervous to be around because I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah.
It's just
You're not
amazing.
nervous now?
It's weird you don't elicit
Well,
the same thing.
not
in
quite.
See, Jerry, that's why you make the money you make, because you're the quipster. You
Why
know?
is he not
Yeah.
nervous? Why are you not nervous?
Hey, do a second song for us, would you?
Okay, great. Bill, tell me about this.
This song, it ties in with what Jerry was saying earlier, and it also ties in with Bob Dylan. This song's called "The Water's Rising."
All right, the water's rising. Chalk eye.
These times that we're living in, the water's rising once again. A little higher on the shore, higher every day. Baby, won't you come with me? Yeah, we're headed down the road again. We're trying to find a peaceful wind. Baby, won't you come with me? Yeah, we've got a ways to go, but we can find our way again. Rain falls down, I see the light. I want to live in the night. Well, we're leaving tonight. Get your things together, we're leaving tonight. Well, this ain't the way that I thought it might be, but it's better than it could have been.
Chalk Eye. Well, it'll depend on when you hear this podcast episode, but if you're listening live on our stream or watching on Facebook Live, Saturday, October 22nd, again, remind you, Southgate House Revival, you can hear Chalk Eye. Would you guys take us out on Irene Goodnight? Sure. Let Jerry Springer come in on the second verse. Sure. Be unbelievable.
You better get
We're
nervous
sorry
now.
about that.
Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. Gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream.
Jerry Springer.
Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. You all come back now, you hear?